I'll take it away.
Welcome to Sunday Breakfast Live. I'm Sally.
I'm Joyce.
And I'm Bethany. And we'd love to know who's watching with us this morning, so let us know in the comments below.
Now, I don't know about you, but can you hear something like pigs?
Pigs? Oh, I don't know.
Can we hear pigs this morning?
I can hear pigs.
Ah, yes, I can now.
I can hear lots of fuss. Oh my goodness, over there in the pigsty, the food buckets just arrived and they're kicking in. They love their food. Anyway, what's happening in our prog today, Joyce?
Well, guess what? The puppets are back and you'll never believe what one of Jesus's fantastic stories is about today. Can you have a guess? It's all about pigs.
Pigs? Okay.
Pigs.
Well, I'll be unpacking that story, funnily enough, and we'll be sharing in some teaspoon prayers. Do you know what a teaspoon prayer is?
I think we're going to find out, aren't we?
Yeah.
I won't stir that up just yet.
Oh.
Sorry, I don't get any better on a Sunday. And we're going to be doing one of our favourite Oasis songs, and I'm sure Whitefield loved this one too. Great big God, it's got submarines actions in it, it's got tower actions. That's how high is God's love, skyscraper love. So we'll be doing that action later.
And I'll be bringing you another craft where we'll make some garlands that you can give to someone who you want to say is really special.
But first, who's with us today? Shall we just go and check who's with us today?
Hello, Ashra. Hiya, Thea.
We've got Elaine and we've got Hazel with us. Hi, Hazel. Up there in Ramsbottom.
Yeah. We've got Vicky and Jonathan. Morning, you two. And we've got Kerry and your family. I hope you're all watching. Good morning there, everybody.
And we've got Lindy with us. Hi, Lindy. I'm presuming Roy's with you as well. And who else is with us?
Andrea Coleman. Morning.
Yay.
Happy birthday for this week.
Yes. Excellent. Excellent birthday. Now, earlier I set us a challenge, the three of us, to find out some interesting facts about pigs. So, Joyce, what did you find out?
Well, I desperately needed to know how many pigs there were in the world. Just desperately needed to know that. So, can you guess how many pigs are hogging the world? Are there nearly 100 million, nearly 400 million, or nearly 700 million?
Wow, those are all big numbers.
Very big. Not sure I can even contemplate what they are. 100 million, 400 million, or 700 million. Is that what you said?
Yeah, those are the figures that I'm throwing at you there. Yeah, straight out of the sky. Pulling out of this, not the sky, pulling out of the sky.
Oh.
You're full of them this morning, aren't you?
Yeah, it's going to be a punny day.
Sunday, sun shining, yeah.
A punny day. Oh. Go on, what's your question then?
My question is, who do you think has the best sense of smell? Is it pigs?
Not you.
No, I really don't. I've got a very bad sense of smell. I have to give Mum meat that might be going off because I won't know. So, who do we think has a better sense of smell? Is it humans? Is it dogs? Or is it pigs?
I think it's got to be dogs, shouldn't it? Because police don't take pigs round with them.
No.
Looking for things. So, is it? I think it's dogs.
I wonder. Yeah. Well, it's definitely not humans. I'm sure it isn't humans.
Well, my question is this. Do pigs like the heat best or cold best?
Ooh.
What temperature do they prefer? Well, if it was me,
Oh yeah. summer all the way for you.
Yeah. Get that blanket on. What do you think?
I don't know.
They like to roll in mud, don't they? They like rolling in mud, apparently. Unless that's a pig myth. Unless that's a myth. So, unless it's a hot mud bath that they have. Don't know. Tricky question, that, Sally.
Yeah.
Tricky
Lots to
question.
go at. So, if any of you know the answers to that, stick them in the comments. Tell us what you think on all those questions. How many pigs are there? Which one has a better sense of smell? And which do pigs prefer, the heat or the cold? Well, I think it's about time that we heard this story. Now, I've brought Piglet down here because some of his cousins star in this story from the Bible that we're going to read right now. A long time ago, there was a father who had 2 sons. The younger son said to his father, "I want everything that's coming to me after you die. And I want it right now." Oh my goodness, how rude was that?
Anyway, the father divided everything between the 2 sons and gave the younger son all the money that his half was worth.
And it wasn't long before he packed his bags and left for a distant country.
There, undisciplined and selfish, he wasted everything his father had given him.
He wasted his time and got bored with all the parties. He wasted his talent and was so rude to everyone. He wasted all his money until he had none left.
But, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Over many months, there was a bad famine in that country, and he found himself completely on his own.
And all his so-called friends weren't friends with him anymore. He had nowhere to live, and he hadn't got any money to buy any food, and he was now very, very hungry indeed.
The son, who'd had everything money could buy, suddenly found himself in a terrible mess, and the only work he could find was feeding the pigs in a pigsty.
Whoa! I know, Piglet, you've had a bit of a wash today, but my goodness, your cousins didn't half smell. But when he looked in the bucket at the food the pigs were eating, he was so hungry he would have eaten the corn cobs in that disgusting pig slop. But no one would give him any.
And then he realised, do you know what? All of the people working for my dad actually sit down to 3 meals a day. And here I am, starving to death.
I wonder what my dad would say if I went back and said, "Dad, I'm really sorry. Would you have me back just to work in the fields?" Oh, I don't know. So what do you think? Shall we see what happens next?
Dad, I'm really, really sorry. I know I've sinned against you and against God. Oh, Zeb. Good dog. Oh, good dog. Oh, it's great to see you. And you're pleased to see me too, aren't you? I bet nobody else is, though. I've been a fool, Zeb. I thought that having my inheritance before Dad died would make me happy. I thought I was missing out on life, stuck here on the farm. I did make loads of friends, Zeb. But when the money ran out, so did the friends. They didn't want to know me. I had to get a job. Go back to farming. Just the very thing I had run away from. The only job I could get was feeding pigs. Would you believe it? Me, a Jewish boy, feeding pigs. I hate pigs, horrible creatures. But I was so hungry, I could have joined them at the trough, eating the slops. Then it dawned on me, Dad's servants were better off than me. At least they get 3 good meals a day. So I've come back to apply for a job here. What do you think, Zeb? Will he have me? I've practiced my speech over and over. Do you want to hear it? Oh. Dad, I did wrong against you and against God, and I'm really, really sorry. So I've come back. Not as your son, of course. I've come to apply for a job on the farm. I know it's asking a lot after what I've done. But please, what do you think, Zeb? Will it do? Oh, here comes Dad. And he's running. What is he flapping his arms around for? Is he shooing me away?
My son, my son!
Dad, I did wrong against you and against God, and I'm really, really sorry. So I've come back. Not as a son, of course, but as a hired hand on the farm.
Hired hand? Why would you be a hired hand? Come this way, son. I've been watching out for you every day, hoping you would come home. I thought I'd lost you forever. Come and have a bath and a change of clothes. You smell like a pigsty. But tonight we shall have a party.
What's all the commotion? Everyone is rushing about like royalty was visiting.
Son, your brother is home at last. Finish here as soon as you can. Give us time to get spruced up.
Spruced up in the middle of the week? What would I do that for?
I told you, your brother has returned.
So?
Aren't you pleased?
Huh, I bet he's only home 'cause he's broke.
But he's home. That's what matters.
What's the fuss? I can't remember you ever putting on a party for me. Perhaps I ought to run off.
Don't sulk, Matthew. I enjoy you every day. I love working alongside you. You want a party? Just ask. Anytime you want. But I have to be happy because your brother is home when I thought he was lost forever. Come on and join the party.
Uncle Sam, can I ask you about that story?
Sure you can, Charlie. What do you want to know?
Why didn't the young man get into great trouble? If I had done something so bad, I'd be grounded for weeks.
Well, before I answer that, what do you think about the way the father welcomed his son?
I think he was very generous and forgiving. I was expecting the young man to get told off big style.
Well, if you remember, I once told you that Jesus told these parable stories to make people think, because they have hidden meanings. So what do you think the hidden meaning is?
I'll have to think a minute. If the story is not really about the man and his son, I need to work out who it really is about, don't I? That's quite hard. If the Father is God and the Son is one of us, It could be to show us that, however bad we are, God will always be pleased to have us back.
Sounds good to me, Charlie. Well done. You've worked that out well.
That is good news, isn't it?
It certainly is, Charlie.
Oh my goodness. The younger son really thought he'd blown it.
Yeah, what a fabulous thing the father did there to welcome his son back. That must have been a really good party.
In a moment, Sally's going to tell us more about this story of the prodigal son. But first, Joyce is going to give us the actions for the #1 song at Oasis. Our God is a great big God.
Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. He is higher than a skyscraper. He's deeper than a submarine. He is wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. And He's known me and He's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. He's higher than a skyscraper. He's deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. And He's known me and He's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. And He holds us in His hands. And He holds us in His hands. And He holds us in His hands.
So I've just stepped into another room to have more of a quiet moment, as it was getting very noisy with all those pigs. I've lit our quiet candle so we can have a bit of a think too. Sometimes when we get in such a mess, we can find it's really hard for us to say sorry. We often feel as though we need or have a right to so many things, but actually it's love for what is right, which is actually love for God, and love for our family and our friends and our neighbours that actually counts the most. Do you remember in the story that when the younger son was still a long way off, his father saw him, who then ran out, embraced him and kissed him? Now the son hadn't had a bath, so he must have still been covered in pig poo. It'd have been very smelly indeed. But the father was hugging him, and even before the son could get his apology out, the father was reassuring him that he still loved him no matter what.
And that's one of the hidden meanings in this story by Jesus. That even when we've hit our lowest and we're really very, very sad, God says to each one of us, yes, you've messed up, but my love is so much bigger than the mess. It's so much more amazing than that. You count and you belong in my family. And so in the story, the father said, quick, bring a clean set of clothes and dress him. Put the family ring on his finger and sandals on his feet, which was the way of saying, you are really precious to me. Now, in some families and cultures, they give garlands of flowers to each other to say, I love and respect you. You're very, very precious. And then there's usually a fabulous party. So in this story, the father said, my son is here, given up for dead. But look, he's here and is alive. He was lost to himself and the family, and now he's found. And then they had the best party ever. But God says to each one of us, you are very precious. You're mine. So as we come to pray, we're going to use something called a teaspoon prayer. Got some teaspoons here. Because in a cookbook, the letters T, S and P stand for teaspoon. And we're going to borrow these letters where T stands for thanks, S stands for sorry, and P stands for please. So let's pray together. We want to thank you, God, for your love for each one of us. Thank you that it's even possible to know your love through Jesus and to know what's right. And thank you for our families and our friends that show us your love. Show us the way, Lord. And so with S, that stands for sorry. We do want to say sorry, Lord Jesus, for all the unkind and hurtful things we say and do sometimes. Help us to follow your way. And when we're tempted to not be very nice to one another, help us just to stop and ask ourselves, what would you do right now? Show us the way, Lord. And with P, we're going to pray, please, will you help us this week, Lord Jesus? Help us to make good choices. Please, would you lead us and guide us and help us to be wise? Show us the way, Lord. Amen. And what do we say at our Oasis when we say Amen? We say Amen.
Amen. Right. Well, today we are going to be making paper chain garlands. Now, what is a garland, you might ask? And a garland is a special necklace, usually made out of flowers that you give and present to somebody really special. But flowers might be a bit difficult to get a hold of, so we are going to use colourful paper chains. So to make one of these, we've got to start off with an A4 piece of coloured paper, which we are then going to cut in half and put one on top of the other. And you need some scissors to start cutting these, but if you are not comfortable with scissors, you might need a grown-up to help you out with this. So you're going to cut nice big wide strips, because we don't want the paper chain to fall apart, so it needs to be quite strong. So we need good thick pieces, maybe about 2 centimetres wide. And then if I give you this to finish off, I will show you how we are going to use these strips to make the necklace. So we're trying to make a rainbow one here. So we've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. So the next colour we need in the rainbow here is green. So I'll take a green loop put some glue on the top of this side. Don't be shy, put plenty on. And then I move the paper chain over here, thread it through, and I stick the glue bit down on top of a dry bit. Okay? Excellent. So that's one done. And the next one we need after green is blue. So I'll show you that again. You take a blue strip, put a nice bit of glue on one side, and then we pull the paper chain up and we loop it through, and we make sure that the gluey bit sticks on top of the dry bit. There we go. Now, you don't have to use glue. You might not have glue at home, but you might have sticky paper. Sticky tape. So the next colour I'll need is purple. So I'll make a loop and thank you very much. Mum's already given me a piece. So you need to remember to thread it through the last chain, pull it round. Make sure that it loops by a nice long way. You don't want to stick it by a little like that. You want it nicely covered. And then you put the sticky tape on top. Doesn't matter if it's a big piece. In fact, there we go. So, nope, I want red next, I think. Red, and then we'll go again. And you just keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going, until you've got at least 18 loops, at least. So if you're making one of these for your mum or your dad, you're going to need about 18 to 20. Where if you're going to make this for a friend or your sister or brother or somebody little, you'll need a bit less. Oh, you've got an alternative.
Well, I have, because sometimes you get loads of wrapping paper at birthdays and at Christmas, and you can smooth it all out. I've got some here from a present I was given not long ago for my birthday. So I've cut it up into small squares. We'll make some strips like that. You do exactly what you did before. Piece of sellotape, make a loop, and then you loop them on like that, and eventually it can become a little bit like that. Now, this is red and silver, and that would make a brilliant Christmas decoration. You know, things are going to be tight, I think, in the next few months. So I think using and recycling all our paper is going to be brilliant. And you've got loads of paper lying around. I'm sure we could make some amazing paper chains. Send us some pictures.
Definitely. Now, you don't actually need to keep the paper chains plain like this. What would be really, really lovely is if when you gave them to a person, you'd written a little message on it. So you might have, I love you, written in the loop. And then you can have paper chains of lovely little messages, and it'll really make their day, really make them feel special. So what we end up with is something nice and long like this one. Can we actually finish it off with one of the special wrapping paper?
You want one of these?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we loop that one and then loop the other one as well. Just like that.
Just like that.
So you can either have that at the front or the back.
There we go.
It's going round me.
Yeah.
Oh,
special. And there you go. Send us your pictures of all the paper chains that you've made and whoever you gave them to, their lovely smiling face. Ooh, now I've got one too. Yeah.
yeah. Because one of the things we're going to do now is to go to our gallery and let's have a look at all your lost sheep from last week.
saying. Thanks everyone who sent us in those pictures. They were lovely. I loved all the different colours and different types of sheep everyone made. So this week, when you make your garlands, send us in a photo of those and let us know who you gave them to.
And just before we give the answers to our 3 interesting facts about pigs, shall we give a few more shout outs to those who have logged on and said hello? Shall I go first?
Yeah.
Wanted to say hello to Lucy and Phoebe in Prestwich, to Jess, hello, to Lauren, and to Carla and Luna and baby Mia, they are watching from Turkey. Lovely to see you. Who else have we got?
Yeah, we've got Anne-Marie. Good morning, Anne-Marie. We've got Nicola and Yvette. We've got Sue. Good morning, Sue. And we've got Em. Great to see you. Great to know you're watching this morning.
Hello, Aspies. Hello, Joseph and Phoebe. And Jen and Craig. Hope you're having a good week. And hello, Helen, Mike and Laurie.
Who else have we got? Is that it? Megan? Did you say Megan?
I miss Megan. Oops.
You're in trouble.
Yeah, she's the sister.
Well, earlier we set ourselves a challenge to find out some interesting facts about pigs. So, Joyce.
Yes, I wanted to know, for some unknown reason, how many pigs there are in the world. And could you guess how many there are? Well, Lindy was spot on there. Lindy knew. There are nearly, get ready for this, 700 million pigs in the world.
In the world.
It's
Jeremy. Jeremy's arrived.
Well, my question was, who do you think has the better sense of smell? Dogs, humans or pigs? And Lindy was right again. Pigs and Megan made the good point that they are truffle hunters.
Pigs and Megan. Pigs and Megan. Yeah, go on.
No, she got it right.
Yeah, she got it right.
That pigs have got nearly 2,000 times better sense of smell than us, because they've got many, many more receptors in their snout for smell than we do or dogs do. And they use their snout to sniff for food in the dirt. So it has to be very, very sensitive.
So why don't the police have a pig going round smelling things then?
I actually Googled that. And apparently dogs are willing to help and pigs just aren't. So
yeah, dogs are a lot more cooperative, trainable.
Yeah. Hugo and Wilson are always wanting to help me, aren't they? So yes, I get that.
Yes, they are. So my question was, do pigs like the heat best or the cold? And yes, you were right, Joyce. It's the cold. Pigs are more tolerant of colder temperatures than heat. Pigs have no sweat glands, so they can't sweat. And that's why they enjoy being in mud, because it helps them to keep cool. And talking of it being hot and cold outside, what's coming up next week, Joyce?
Well, it has gone a bit colder, hasn't it, the weather? So very autumnal, and at this time of year, it's harvest time when we think about bringing food in. So next week, not food in from anywhere, just food in from the fields, bringing in the harvest crops. So next week, we'll be hearing a story about a great feast, a huge party that many people were invited to, but for some reason or other, they didn't want to go. That's going to be interesting. I wonder why.
And instead of making a craft to put up on your wall or to wear, next week we're making something that we can eat.
I'm looking forward to that one.
I bet.
Definitely looking forward to that one. Just something to say about the harvest. Lots of people, when it comes to harvest, they collect gifts and give them to either food banks or to, we used to give them to all sorts of sheltered accommodation and old people's homes when I was a lot younger. But basically, we give food and gifts to those who have got so much less than we have. And as a church, we are collecting dry goods, tinned dry goods, cereals, anything like that.
Toiletries.
Toiletries, definitely toiletries. And we're going to be giving them to the Porch Project, which is Berry's food bank. So it's really well run, and they do run low at certain times of the year. This is one of the main times. And of course, so many places are not meeting at the moment. So do get in contact with us and we'll drop round. We'll do a contactless collection if you would like, so that we too can help support those who have got so much less than we have. And don't forget to send in pictures, photos of your garlands, what messages, and who have you given it to. That would be lovely. And if you're starting to make Christmas ones, yes, Andrea, I know you're already starting your Christmas cards.
Wow.
I know, all these brilliant crafty people. It's fantastic. So send us in photos of your garlands. So Mr. Techie Mike, hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for all that you're doing. Thank you. And so in the meantime, this week, may you know God's peace and God's blessing, and that you'll be able to join us again live next week for Sunday Breakfast Live. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.